Hi guys, I thought I'd send you a video newsletter as opposed to a detailed email. I've got a couple of things I wanted to raise with regard to the tagging work. The first thing is that we have had a paper from the first lot of our tagging work accepted for publication by Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, and I will send you a copy of this as soon as it is in print. It's great to have this published because this work shows how important rehabilitation is to the work of the Cochrane community, and we have demonstrated how 1 in 11 of all Cochrane reviews are directly relevant to the interventions that are provided by rehabilitation professionals. The second thing I wanted to raise, got my notes down here, is that I have now uploaded the Cochrane reviews, all the Cochrane reviews and protocols that have been published between September and December 2018, and so these are now in the Knack database, ready for people to do the tagging work whenever is convenient for you. And so I just wanted to show you a few things. I've done a bit of editing with regard to how the Knack database works. I'm just going to show you that now. The first thing is that as we've been progressing through the work of doing the tagging, we have been refining our criteria about what counts as a rehabilitation review or not a rehabilitation review, because we have hit a lot of grey areas and a lot of areas of problems. So before you do any more tagging, do just have a look to see have a look through these revised criteria that we've developed based on people's feedback and on the work that we've been doing to date. It's definitely very difficult to come up with a criteria that everybody absolutely agrees with, but if have a look through this, make sure that you're making your decisions based on these criteria, and if you have some feedback you want to give us about decisions we've made with regard to the wording of the criteria, feel free to give me an email, drop me an email. The other thing just to mention is that with regard to those criteria, just to highlight, the thing that we are actually interested in is to find the reviews that are specifically about interventions that rehabilitation professionals provide. So I just want to highlight that again. If we were to broaden the scope of our work to be about identifying reviews that rehabilitation providers are interested in, we'd probably end up including almost everything that's in the Cochrane library. So we're wanting to specifically focus on things that allied health professionals and rehabilitation physicians and rehabilitation nurses are specifically involved with providing. So those are the reviews we're wanting to tag as rehabilitation reviews. On the same note, when you are tagging reviews by professions of relevance, can you please tag the professions who you believe are involved in delivery of the intervention that is the subject of the Cochrane review. So when it comes to taking things on the basis of the professional groups, tag on the basis of who is involved with the delivery of that particular intervention. That would be great. Thank you. And then also the other thing, just as a general rule of thumb, if you find you want to tag a review as being relevant to the whole rehabilitation team, just tick whole rehabilitation team and don't worry about also tagging the individual professional groups as well. Once it's in the set of reviews for whole rehabilitation team, we just count it as that. The final thing is that I had some feedback from someone about how to go about changing your review decisions that you've made in the past, your tagging decisions that you've made in the past, and so I've edited the Knack database a little bit to make this a bit easier. What you can do now is if you click on this this tab here, Reviews Screened by You, it will pull up all the reviews that you have previously screened. I've just created a new account here called Mini-Me and tagged one review. So it's only showing one review because I've only tagged one review with this particular account. what I've also added is I've added a new field which creates a date that the tagging was last updated, and so these reviews screened by you will automatically be ordered to start with by the most recent tagging decisions through to the least recent tagging decisions. So if you immediately make an error and click on reviews screened by you, you will probably find the one that you've most recently edited sitting here. I just thought of something else, so I'm adding in this little extra bit of video here. If you've got piles and piles of reviews that you've screened and you're trying to find a particular one, there are a couple of options available to you. You can just reorder these reviews by clicking on these subheadings here, and these will change the order of things based on, they'll sort them in terms of date or in terms of when the taking decision was last made, or alphabetically on the basis of the first author's name. With only one review, I can't resort them. The other thing you have open to you is this option here called Add Filters, and so you can add a filter here. You might wish to, for example, maybe the only thing you can remember is the title of the paper was on a particular topic. So you can filter for a title that contains within it a word, and the word could be something like something to do with oral or something, and then it will pull up this particular review that you were looking for. If you want to remove that filter, click on the little X here, and so you can add and remove the filters as you see fit. So you could, for example, throw a filter in for a particular year, where the year is 2018, and I'm going to add another filter which is going to be where the author contains the letter BUL, and again it will pull up this one review. If I had changed that to a different thing like CUL, I won't be seeing any reviews because there's none that meet those criteria. So that is an option that's open for you to find those reviews. Back to the other review I was making. And you can click here on edit your taking decisions to pull up your the same form where you can edit the decision, and when you click submit it will update the date that the taking was last updated. Because I've just set this up today, all the dates for these when taking decisions were last updated are set for the 1st of February 2019. I have to say, I've just noted this is in an American style formatting for dates. I might change that. I always find the sort of UK style day followed by month followed by year easier to read. So I'll go ahead and change that as well. When you want to go back into tagging reviews that people haven't looked at before, you can again click on the Cochrane review tagging tab, either group 1 or group 2 depending on which group you are in. And again, the way these things are, just to remind you, the way these things are set up is that I've added a filter so that only the tagging decisions that you have, only the tagging decisions that haven't been made yet are showing here. You can actually remove this filter just by clicking on this little X here, and that then shows all 10,000 reviews that are sitting in this database. And if you want to put that filter back in again, in actual fact, probably the easiest thing is just to refresh the entire screen. It's set up so that that filter comes on immediately when you log into, when you refresh the screen. But you can add your own filters too if you wanted to look for specific years of work, for instance. That's it. Thank you very much for your time. Because I think the last lot of reviews that I've updated in the Knack database, that there's actually 300 of them, and it might be that some of the tagging groups just immediately screen through those taking decisions very quickly, and so that if you come into it like a week or two later, there might not be actually that much work to do, which is fantastic. The other thing just to acknowledge is that people have said to me that they are interested in doing more work for Cochrane Rehabilitation, which is fantastic. One thing we have been wondering about is whether or not we could do some work around looking at the reviews that we've included in our database as rehabilitation reviews, and maybe start doing some work to begin describing the characteristics of the Cochrane reviews that are directly relevant to rehabilitation. But I think before we launch into that work, we need to be really clear about what the objectives of that sort of work would be, because there are already parallel streams of work going on. For example, with the development of an e-book, which other parts of Cochrane Rehabilitation are involved in, and the e-book is going to be a summary of all the evidence that is in the Cochrane Library relevant to the work of rehabilitation providers. The selection of reviews for the e-book comes directly from the work we are doing as part of this tagging of Cochrane reviews, so we're contributing into the e-book in that way. I think that's enough from me for now, and I will speak to you all again another time. Bye.